Hello, everybody, and good to have you on board again for the 20 minutes. This time it's the penultimate episode of the 20 minutes for reviewing this year's US Open, or at least each day, and they've been coming thick and fast. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, all the usual stuff. I'm going to begin with looking at the women's final from yesterday. In New York between Iga Swiatek and Ons Jabeur. We will be addressing the Casper Ruud Alcaraz match, which is about to get underway in about 2 hours from now. So I'll also hear your thoughts on that as well. But first of all, let's address yesterday's final. A straight sets win for Iga. I thought it might be a little bit more difficult. I did have Iga winning the tournament from the outset, and I also had Iga winning yesterday, albeit I think I went for 3 sets as opposed to straight sets. And I think that's now, I think it's something like 10 finals for Iga Swiatek without dropping a set, which is just insane. We heard from Nadal and perhaps Djokovic in the past as well, where they talk about, and we know that feeling of they go into slam mode. Well, Iga goes into final mode, and she certainly did that really from this outset yesterday, taking a really early 3-love lead. I think she dropped 2 from the first 14 points, which seemed to sort of really hit Ons quite hard, albeit that Ons did recover and actually get it back on serve. But she was basically 3-love down in 8 minutes yesterday. Iga just blowing her away, and really Ons, you could say, never quite recovered, albeit that she did rally a bit in the second set. I'm going to share the screen with you right now because I want to show you a point from the first set which Ons should have won. Okay, it wasn't the most pivotal point in the match. It wasn't on a break point or a championship point or a set point, anything like that. But it did kind of sum up a little bit of a lack of belief, I think, from Ons at the beginning of the match. You can see there I've posted on Twitter what a point Ons take a bow. Iga take a bow in this particular image here, this one here. And it's true, Iga was phenomenal in this point. But from this moment here, bearing in mind Ons Jabeur is here, okay, Iga should not be winning this point. She should be putting that away. She's really, you can see she's getting ready to go cross court, but really, maybe going down the line would have been more intelligent, more the better answer to do it. And to be honest with you, I think a cooler head, she probably would have gone down the line. Or if you're going to go cross court, hit it with a bit more conviction and don't give Iga the chance, which is what we see here, to get her racket on it. And by the way, Ons is still the favourite for the point. But at the next juncture, if we just go back a bit, at the next juncture, she doesn't take advantage of that. Also go back here. Okay, it's a little bit there. Okay, a little bit there, and a little bit there, and a little bit here. As we can see, Iga ends up winning the point with an excellent backhand, by the way. Little dink back across there, and she's good, did a little fist pump there. But really, again, look at this body stance here from Ons. I think it's kind of, she was just dejected having not won the point previously, and I think if she lacked conviction on the previous sort of shot, I think at this point she's almost like, oh, I don't know what to do next. And we did see that quite a few times from Ons during the first set, where she was like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what to do. I just can't win points. And it was becoming a theme. She did get it back on serve, to be fair, but then she lost belief once again and ends up basically losing the set 6-2. And at that point, you're starting to worry. And in fact, on set point, it was an Ons backhand error into the net that cost her that first set. However, she rallied, as I said, and she did begin to settle in that second set, albeit she also went 3-love down and, in fact, was facing 2 break points. And I think if it had gone 4-love, that would have been it. The ovens were being switched on for the Iga's Bakery. I even tweeted that yesterday to say, listen, the ovens are coming on, get the breadsticks and the bagels ready. Because if that had gone 4-love, you know, it could have been a quite a depressing ending, really, for Ons. But fortunately, she rallied. She gets it back on serve. She then goes another break down to 4-2. She gets that back on serve. And now they're heading almost towards a tiebreak. But just before the tiebreak, she's also 5-6 love 30 down. She gets that back to 30 all. She then faces championship point. And fortunately for her, some excellent serving managed to get that back on serve and go into the tiebreak. So really that second set was Ons on the ropes, Ons back in it. Ons on the ropes, Ons back in it. And that is credit to Ons Jabeur. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat regarding yesterday's match, your thoughts just in general. Hi, Ashley there. Nice to have you on board. Let me know your thoughts on your analysis for that final. Was it a missed opportunity for Ons? Was Iga just too good? Listen, there's also the tiebreak to talk about because it was winnable. I don't think Iga was phenomenal in the tiebreak. In fact, I don't think Iga's been phenomenal all tournament, to be fair. But she's just the best player in the world, and maybe by some distance. I know Ons, in her press conference afterwards, was talking about perhaps getting number one next year. And given the fact that she didn't play the Australian Open in January, and obviously Wimbledon didn't have any points, and she went out the first round of the French Open, she will have plenty of points to make up. Yeah, she seemed off, Ashley, and to be honest with you, she finally, after, say, 10, 11 games, when she was 3-love down in that second set, that was when she got her momentum, and that's when she got her mojo. But by then, it was almost too late for her to get back into the match. I don't know how hard this will hit her. And of course, I actually predicted Iga to win yesterday because of the two players' form in finals, or at least in major finals, I should suggest. Iga's now played 3, she's won 3, and she's not dropped a set. Ons has now played 2, and she's lost both of those finals, of course, earlier this year at Wimbledon. And of course, Iga beat her in Rome on the clay earlier this year as well, in straight sets, 6-2, 6-2. Yesterday wasn't quite that comfortable, and Ons did have chances in that tiebreak, and it was six forehand errors that cost her that tiebreak. The 7 points that Iga won, one was an excellent forehand winner, I think at about 5-4, maybe. Don't forget as well, Ons actually did kind of was nip and tuck that tiebreak, but she was leading 5-4. And if she holds serve twice, she wins the set, and who knows what happens. But she didn't. The forehand let her down too often, and eventually she went long on match point, costing her the match. And listen, that's it. That's from the Ons point of view. But Iga, boy, oh boy. 2 surfaces now, no longer just a clay court specialist. She's still got the grass courts of Wimbledon to conquer, but I'm convinced that she will one day do that because she's got the talent, she's got the nous, and she's a deserving champion. I mean, her draw, Sloane Stephens, second round, many of us were thinking, Sloane Stephens, second round, that's a real banana skin. But she prevailed. She overcame that. Oh, there is one more stat in particular. In fact, let's just have a quick look at the stats from yesterday's match, because I do think they are significant. And I think in the serving point here, we've got, this is Ons on the right, by the way, Ons Jabeur on the right. She does 4 double faults, which, given the number of aces she produced, is too many, of course. But also, she got 0 aces. Now, when we compare that to her semi-final against Garcia, where she got 8 aces, that's a big drop. Of course, the other person on the other side of the net is hugely responsible for that. I talked about Garcia and her serve return position and how I think that was a bit naive of her to pursue that in the semi-final. Not a bit from Iga, of course. She goes back much deeper, and her returns, she was getting them back, and she returns much better than Garcia, I would say, at least in terms of consistency. You know, Garcia's top level of returns is unbelievable. We know that, but she just didn't produce that on a consistent basis in that semi-final against Ons Jabeur, which of course Jabeur won in straight sets. By the way, Sabalenka must be thinking another missed opportunity as well. She was probably the closest of anybody in this tournament to beating Iga. Iga as well, don't forget Niemeyer as well. She dropped a set there, but really, by the time it went to a third set, she bageled the German and never really looked back. Okay, so looking at some of these stats here, let me know your thoughts in the live chat as well about, did Iga win this? Did Ons lose it? Was a bit of both, probably a bit of both. But I do think hats off to Ons for that rally in the second set. And hopefully she can take that belief into Australia. At least Ons has three surfaces really, which she's very, very good on. I know she went out in the first round of Roland Garros, but I don't expect that to be a theme for her on the clay. She's actually a very good clay court player. The only problem is on the clay, she's going to have to probably be eager again. In fact, everybody is going to have to be eager to win big tournaments, and especially the majors, and especially on clay. Okay. Yeah, so basically, it was just in the end a comfortable win from Iga. Now, this is the biggest compliment I can pay her. She won this tournament without quite hitting the heights that she performed, for example, at Roland Garros. Let me know in the live chat if you disagree with me there, whether you think maybe this was peak Iga. For me, there's a lot more to come from her. And I expect her to maintain this number one for quite some time. She's obviously got quite a bit of a gap between her and the rest of the players, but they've got to all go back to the drawing board. They've got a lot of catching up to do, whether that be Maria Sakkari, Sabalenka, Raducanu, you name it. It's Iga that they need to be focusing on and focusing their attention on. They've got to get better. Just got to get better. Okay. That's the women's final. As I say, let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Whether you think now Iga's going to go on and perhaps maybe even win 3 majors next year, win 4 majors. Can she win all 4 majors next year? I think the grass courts of Wimbledon, as I said, will be something she does conquer, but might need another year or two on that. Thanks, Antonio, by the way. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, exactly. Winning that final with 0 aces it's going to be a big ask for anyone, particularly as she did 8 in the previous round. Iga winning there by not being at her best. Yeah, I think so. I think it just goes to show that basically Iga, not quite at her best, not on her best surface, is still winning slams, which is very impressive. Okay, I will now switch to the men's final, which is coming up, as I say, in about an hour and 45 minutes. I'll be giving you my thoughts on that, and then I'll come back to you in the live chat to hear some of your thoughts on that men's final, but also some of your belated thoughts, perhaps, on the women's final. Alcaraz and Ruud. Alcaraz has a 2-love head. Is it 2-love or 2-0? Whatever. He's won both times that they've played in the head-to-head, and of course, number one is on the line here. Casper Ruud has been in one major final. He lost that in straight sets. He talked about how nervous he felt playing against Rafa Nadal in Paris earlier this year. Will nerves be a problem for him again today? I suspect not as much, just because I think Alcaraz at this stage of his career isn't quite that same intimidating figure as Rafa is, and especially on Philippe Chatrier in Paris. But I do make Alcaraz the favorite. In fact, I would suggest Alcaraz winning this in 4 sets. To me, makes sense. Alcaraz's ceiling is just higher than Casper Ruud's and quite possibly higher than anyone's in the world right now. And of course, the proof will be in the pudding if he then goes on to win this match, because he will then go on to become world number one, which is a phenomenal thing given the fact he's only 19 years old. In fact, he would become the youngest number one of all time. And by the way, Casper Ruud, if he wins, will become world number one, whether you like it or not. And to be fair, I think the concerns were that he might play a different opponent and actually finish runner-up and then get world number one. Well, if he wins the US Open, okay, I think at least it gives you a little bit more authenticity behind that. One thing, though, regarding that Miami final, which was a straight sets win for Alcaraz, is I do think that Casper Ruud's serving has improved a little bit since then. I also think the backhand now is not something you can target in the same way that maybe Rafa felt you could do on the clay at Philippe Chatrier. I don't think on the hard court it works quite as well to target the backhand. Nevertheless, I am going Carlos Alcaraz in 4 sets. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat. I'm going to come to that right now because I'd like to hear your predictions. Antonio there suggesting that Alcaraz is under a lot of pressure. He's obsessed with being number one in the ranking. Ruud is going to play that fact. Let's see if Ruud can be relaxed. The only thing is, if you're the underwhelming or if you've got an overwhelming favorite on the other side of the net, like Rafa in Roland Garros, if you're nervous for that, maybe today, with it being a bit more 50-50, you'd think that Ruud would still be nervous. He's obviously had one major final and one major defeat. It's not a huge sample size, but it does give us something. He barely laid a finger on Rafa in Paris. So despite your thoughts, Antonio, I am going for Alcaraz in 4. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat. All I want is an A for Alcaraz or an R for Ruud. Who is winning this match? Just simply hit A for Alcaraz, R for Ruud, and it'll be interesting to hear what you guys think in terms of who's winning this match later on this evening or this afternoon as it is here in New York between these two players. And also, listen, for the rest of the year, Alcaraz may take some stopping to lose that number one status, bearing in mind that he's not defending a huge amount of points, I don't think, between now and the end of the year. ATP finals, obviously, to come that he has qualified for. Pretty sure that Casper Ruud will be there in Turin as well. And then even Alcaraz in terms of Australia, I think he went out in the second or third round. I think it was third round to Berrettini last year. So we may well see a fairly lengthy stretch of Alcaraz at number one, bearing in mind how this year has seen the number one change hands 2 or 3 times. I think it was with Djokovic, then there was 1 week of Medvedev, then it went back to Djokovic, then it went back to Medvedev, and now it's going to be passed over to Alcaraz or Ruud. If it is to be Alcaraz, I think he might be there for several months, but I could be wrong. Thanks, Antonio. Of course, you wanted to be Alcaraz. Alcaraz from Murcia, by the way, in Spain. I don't really think there were many famous tennis players from that region of Spain. Of course, both Carlos Moya and Rafa Nadal, of course, are from Mallorca. But yeah, he's from Murcia on the east coast of Spain. So that's quite nice for that region to have a star in the making. In fact, he's a star in the present, to be honest with you. And there, Antonio is saying, of course, he would like it to be A. Antonio, I know, is from the south of Spain, from Seville, but he doesn't have a good feeling, so he's going for Casper Ruud. I get the feelings, and I think sometimes when we really want a particular player to win, we sometimes feel a bit more negative about that player. I know how it is as a football and a tennis fan myself, that sometimes I fear the worst, but in the end, as I say, I'm going for I'm going for Carlos Alcaraz. I just think as well that, yeah, maybe there is pressure on Alcaraz, but you know what? I want to see 5 sets, and if there's a part of me that would like to see Casper Ruud do well today, just because I do think that Alcaraz is going to be here many, many, many more times, just like Iga will be. And it was kind of why I was hoping for Ons yesterday, for her to get a result, because it's all well and good saying, I'll be back next year, I'll be here to win it sometime in the future. Or sometimes it's your opponent in their winning speech. They say, don't worry, you'll be back next year and you'll win many Grand Slams. Well, Rafa Nadal said that to Daniel Medvedev in January, and Medvedev hasn't been the same player since. So these moments for certain people, unless your name is Serena Williams, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, or Roger Federer, these moments sometimes are once in a lifetime, once in a year, certainly, or once in every few years. So just don't know how many majors Casper Ruud is going to make the final of. I do think he got a bit fortunate with his draw in Paris. So back to my prediction, Alcaraz in 4. I'm going to be bringing this episode to an end because I've got plenty of things to do, not least prepare for the final. I'm not playing, but it would be great for you to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. Also, let me know your thoughts either on Talking Tennis TT on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook, or simply leave a comment below this video, and I will try and get to them if you have a prediction for today's final before it happens. Tennis World, thanks for stopping by.